know it's a tall order and it's probably it's hard to do this in the moment, but one of the things I'm trying to get better with is, and I think we all should do it because a lot of us have a certain way of looking at this, but we need to get better with how we argue. I think a lot of us argue to win as opposed to arguing to fix something, arguing to learn, right? And when I say that, this is what I mean. If you're arguing with your spouse, right, or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, right, y'all arguing, cool. Reality, that kind of stuff happens. People argue, that's whatever. What ends up happening is me trying to be right tends to be the epicenter, right? When people are arguing, like, hey, I'm right. No, you're wrong. I'm right. And in reality, let's say you get into an argument, right? And this don't happen to everybody, but in reality, we lose grip on what we're arguing about in the first place. How many of you have argued, right? Boom, you're in the argument, boom, we're in the thick of it. And well, I do not like seatbelt straps, bro. These bother me so much. I don't just if you could just touch my shoulder and then leave the rest of me alone. But so we argue, right? Let's say I'm mad because you didn't listen to me when I said I wanted to do something, right? Okay. A lot of times the argument turns from that into something way bigger, or into a match of just who can win, right? And when that happens, you have literally lost sight in the actual problem itself. The problem was the fact that somebody didn't do what you wanted to do, or somebody did something wrong, whatever, right? And what ends up happening is the argument changes. What I've been trying to do lately, because this happens, right? And a lot of y'all think, oh, that's just how arguments are. That's not how healthy arguments are. A lot of times we don't have the ability to properly think when we're arguing because we're so mad. If you try to do two things, right? And this is what I'm trying to do. I'm not telling you nothing I ain't trying to do. But if you try to focus on the actual issue, right? And try not to bring up stuff from the past. Try not to, even if it's a scenario that happened 20 minutes before that, right? Try not to bring up stuff from the past. And try to focus and hammer down on just the point at hand, right? The issue at hand. If you do that, a lot of times it really helps these arguments, right? It really turns them more from arguments to a learning experience. I understand you're mad. Everybody's whatever. You feel a particular way. The other person feel a particular way. I get it. But if you bring in other stuff, it turns from that to a I'm right, to an attack, and then we're forcing the other person to react in a healthy manner when we're jumping down their throat. Because it turned from, hey, you did something wrong, to you did this wrong 2 months ago, you did that wrong, you always do this wrong, you did that one wrong since I met you. You know what I'm saying? You focus on the task at hand, and also focus on the situation being trying to learn something. For example, if I argue with my wife and my wife says, I don't like X, Y, and Z, you always do that. Okay. The takeaway from this, right, is that the person does not like that you do this. That's the takeaway, right? And for you, the other person's takeaway might be why you do it. Maybe there's a reason you do it that and she didn't know, he didn't know, whatever. That person takes away, okay, this is why you do it. At the end of the argument, y'all better not leave these arguments not knowing how to move forward. A lot of y'all get in these arguments and then do the same thing again because there was nothing ever discussed on how to fix this, how to stop this, right? Like if at night, if before I go to bed, I always have a habit of drinking a glass of milk, which I drink a glass of milk. Y'all gonna have to come get me from the hospital. But no, I drink a glass of milk, but I know my wife likes to drink milk in the morning, and I've been drinking all the damn milk, right? Well, there should be a fix to that. It shouldn't just be an argument about drinking the milk, and then we still doing the same thing. Why we can't get 2 bottles of milk? Can't get 2 gallons of milk? I got a milk, you got a milk? It's enough to go around type of thing? I know this sounds crazy, but this is what people do. They argue to win. They don't argue to learn and to fix a problem. When you're arguing, it's because there's a problem. Every argument it comes behind a problem. And you have to actually try to fix the problem. You can't just argue and expect things to go right. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? Period. You on Instagram, you on Instagram going live, flirting with girls on live and all kind of stuff, and hitting random girls up on their inbox and all that crazy stuff, right? Your girl get mad at you for doing that, right? If she stay with you, she get mad at you for doing that. The fix to that is to not do it anymore. But if you arguing the issue and saying this is why I do it, and you do it again, you guys never came to an agreement on how you gonna fix that. So now you still in people's inbox. You still messaging women. It ain't gonna work out. You guys never sat there as adults and say, you know what, as a man, I'm not gonna do this no more. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? However it's supposed to go, you have to come up with a way to, you have to come up with an agreement on how to fix it, how to move forward. That's the way these have to work. Or else you arguing just to win. So I don't know. Hope that does something for somebody. But I realize, like, looking back, I've been arguing to win my whole life. Arguing to win my whole life. And it's crazy because when you argue, like I said, it's because there's a problem. Well, if there's a problem, fix the problem. Well, instead, all you're trying to do is win. If I argue and I'm right, that means something should happen, right? Not necessarily. What if I'm right and the reason why the house got broken into is because you left the door unlocked? Cool, I'm right, but what does that do? What did we just fix here? We didn't fix nothing. We didn't fix nothing. The house got broken into. Now, I mean, to me, this is just my opinion. A fix to that problem isn't arguing about who left the door unlocked, right? It would be, again, the other person know they messed up, they left the door, whatever. But I think a better way of going about that is this. And it's hard not to argue about that. As a side note, let me just say that. Somebody break in your house and steal stuff, you are pissed off. Point blank, period. You are mad. You're not looking to be emotionally responsible and all. No, you are mad. Somebody broke in your house. But do not forget, if you're arguing with a significant other, that is your significant other, even if y'all don't have a home to live in. That's your wife, your husband, whatever. That's that person to you, regardless if y'all homeless on the streets. You know what I'm saying? So you take that covenant, you accept that before God. That's what that is. If that's your husband and wife, your husband or wife, you're right. So at the end of the day, relationship, like health of your relationship, is probably the most important thing ever. The argument should be like, hey, I'm mad because you did this, but look, how do we make sure this don't happen again? Even if y'all have to take some time to breathe about it, right? Breathe on it and just wait for a second. How do we make sure that that we leave the door, that we lock the door? Maybe you guys decide you get one of them, there's like those electric auto door locking mechanism, you know, whatever. They make those. Go on Amazon, grab you one of those, and every time you close the door, it locks. You have to type in a passcode to get in. Yeah, there's a key, there's a master key, but you got a passcode, right? Do that. So now every time you open and close it, it locks. And that's the decision that y'all made. That way, in the future, there is no question of who locked the door. If the door ain't locked and the house get broken into, it means that mechanism just didn't work, or they broke in another way. Something else happened. That's just the reality of it, and that's how it should be. That's what we got to figure out how to do. Argue to learn. Argue to fix a problem. If we got to argue, that's what we got to do. Because arguing just to win, you literally don't accomplish anything there. I'm gonna holler at you, man. I just wanted to let that sizzle in your spirit, like Country Wayne say. I'm gonna holler at you.